Hey guys, we spoke last week about the vagus nerve and the importance of it in your life expectancy, longevity, chronic disease, and things like that. So today I want to talk to you about a couple of quick tests that you can use to see if your vagal tone might be okay. So there's a really quick, simple test you can do so that you can actually just do this at home on your own without needing any of our equipment. Of course, the best way to do it is by using research-grade ECG-based heart rate variability, which is what we do here. Which is a couple of electrodes we put on, which gives us an amazing ability to determine exactly what's going on exactly with these level of function. But here's a couple of quick things that you can do at home, which will allow you to work out whether that's the case or not. So the first thing you can do is get yourself a heart rate monitor. So most people have them either built into your watches or your Fitbits or something like that. Put your heart rate monitor on, and what we want to do is just lay down and get a resting level of heart rate. So in other words, if you're just resting for a minute, what's your heart rate normally sitting? It'll vary around a little bit, it won't stay consistent, and that's part of the vagal function itself. We won't go into that today, but this is a really, really important thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay down, and then what we're going to do is put a little bit of pressure onto your eyes directly. So close your eyes and put pressure on your eyes, and just for about 15 to 20 seconds is often enough to do it. Just gentle, just make it comfortable, don't want to push too hard. And what will happen is as we drive pressure onto here, it stimulates input into the brainstem, out of your vagal nerve, into your heart, and it should slow your heart rate down. So if we're pressing onto it, we should see a drop somewhere in the order of about 10% if your vagal tone is functioning correctly, if your vagus nerve is functioning correctly. If you don't get that drop, that could be a sign that your vagal system is not functioning as well as it could be. Next thing we want to do is if you look into the mouth itself, we can see these little ridges at the back of your throat, with your little uvula hanging down here. And what we want to do is check the height of both sides of your palate. So what we can see in this person here is that one side is slightly higher than the other. And the reason this is important is because your vagus nerve actually comes in and supplies your soft palate directly there. So what you're seeing is the level of stimulation resting on your palate itself. And low palate function and poor palate function can be associated with things like sleep apnea, snoring, and these type of things as well. So that's another quick, simple things that you can do. Just have a look from from in front, look into the throat, and just see whether or not the palate is level or whether one is higher than the other. The next thing, if we go further than this and move that next step along, now what we want to do is take that same palate that we had here and we want to stimulate it. When we stimulate it, we should get a response. So there's two responses that we could get. If we stimulate this palate here, the first response we should see is that the palate is actually elevated. So we get this elevation in your palate. As soon as you touch it, it goes up. And the reason it does that is that the first part of what's called your gag reflex. So your gag reflex is that reflex that causes you to vomit. So what we should see as soon as we touch this area here, we get this gag reflex that comes up, and we can start seeing that firstly by elevation of your soft palate at the back, and secondly by that contraction of your stomach muscles as you get ready to gag itself. So here's a couple of quick tests for you. So we've got your ocular cardiac reflex, which is all designed by eye pressure. Heart rate should come down. Next one is our palate height, and our palate height should be even from side to side. The final one here is our gag reflex, and that should be instantaneous. As soon as we touch that back part of your throat on either side, bang, we should go into our gag reflex. Right guys, have a quick play with that. Next week I'll talk to you about a few things you can do to start stimulating your vagus and getting your vagus working better to try and help all this process off directly. But in the meantime, have a play, see what you come up with. If you have any problems at all, something's not working, don't be afraid, just message me and let me see if I can get you some advice on what you might be able to do, and also determine if it may actually be a real problem or if it's perhaps just something not necessarily need to worry about. Because remember, some of these things will shift with other issues as well. So don't want you to get stressed over things that you may find that may not necessarily be showing up as we've explained it here. Anyway guys, if you have any questions, post them up or send me a message. Otherwise, I'll catch you next week in the vid. Catch you then. Bye for now.